Hey, good morning. Hope everybody's well. Listen, it's a really nice day today, and I slept well. Thank you for asking. And in my never-ending quest to make a few dollars, I understand that I can put a link for this particular item at the bottom of my video, and Amazon's going to send me $300,000. Did I misunderstand? I don't know. Anyway, I bought two of these guys, okay? And it's a stand. It's got a base. The base folds out. And you lock it by turning this guy here. And it is, you can adjust the height. It's very cool. Not only is it cool, it's really reasonably priced. Under $1,000. And cell phone goes in here, and you can adjust that accordingly, and you can tilt it this way or that way, and then you simply tighten your cell phone in there, or camera, whatever you're using, and you're off and running. Now, just so you have an idea, I'm over 6 feet, and I've got this thing extended all the way, and not to sound too weird, but I think it's perfect for my height. So I encourage you, go out and buy 15 or 20 of these things so I can make some money. Just kidding, okay? Well, not really, but hey, so what's new in the world today? You know, there's a few things that are on my mind that I'd like to briefly touch on. And when I say that, I mean in respect to the years that really stand out in my life were the 60s, okay? And I think that goes without explaining. I'm a full-born baby boomer, and I'm proud of it. I'm a survivist, and but most importantly, the differences that I've seen this society go through, in particular about a couple of topics that I want to touch on. And I think the first one is trust. And I recall situations that I experienced growing up where, you know, as a young guy and out in my first apartment building, you meet different younger people as well in an apartment situation, and, you know, you trade off different things. Hey, you know, I've got some shirts I need ironed. If you do those for me, I'll walk your dog and pick up his poop or whatever. I don't know. You know, I'm just making that up. But, you know, we were bartering back there then. We didn't know what it was about, okay? And meeting people was easy. Picking up a hitchhiker was without fear, and you know, unless they had an AK-47 strapped to their shirt or something like that. But you know, we were a much more trusting generation in the 60s, even going into the 70s. And you know, I don't recall exactly where and when all of that started changing. And I'm not going to blame it on the government. I'm not going to blame it on any religion. You know, Vietnam was a terrible thing. I lived through that. Iraq was a terrible thing. I lived through that. I did not serve. I was not capable to do it. And I had planned on it, though, out of high school. My dad had been in the Navy, and I sort of thought, well, he kind of maybe and sometimes always took the easier of two roads, so I thought I would do that. And anyway, long story short, trust has become something that has really changed this world. You know, I live in a neighborhood where I have neighbors that I've never met. I've seen them. They sometimes wave. They often walk their dog by my home. I run into them sometimes at a market, sometimes not. But all said, they I think what happens is that we really don't know our neighbors until there's an emergency like a big fire or, of course, an earthquake. You know, and then that's a kind of a I need situation. But you notice I got my car show t-shirt on today. This is from Seal Beach, California. If you've never been down there, it's a quaint little city. It's pretty expensive. I didn't live there. And once a year they have a car show in their downtown Main Street type thing. And every year that I've gone, it just explodes and it just gets getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm very associated with a lot of different car situations, older car. I've got a couple here in my garage, and you know, I relate a lot to the people of my age that are doing what I'm doing. So I trust these people, believe it or not. I mean, I sell things to people on a rare occasion. I won't extend credit, but I'll let them pay over time to me because I don't take any of these apps, Chime or any of these. I just don't do it. I'd rather wait for my money, and I can tell by the conversations that I have with somebody that I feel okay with it, and I've never lost 5 cents. Anyway, going back to trust, it's a sensitive subject. On a personal level, on a business level, on a societal level, where we live in an area where we for years and we don't even know our neighbors. Okay, and it's kind of sad actually because it was different, and I'm glad I lived to experience that, because I was thinking the other day, that I was thinking that if I had moved to the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, I would have never known what it was like. And I went to high school, I graduated there, and in San Mateo, and I had just lifelong friends that I thought would last forever. And that was my naivety. But we were young, and I think a lot of them felt the same way. And fortunately or not fortunately, we all went our own ways, and we had different jobs, and we had different experiences, and marriages, and that sort of thing. And we grew apart. Recently, I have been in contact with some of my friends from high school, and it's been fun, and it's been informative, and learning about their lives, aside from after what we were like in high school, at 16 and 17. It was pretty weird, actually. But moving along, another thing that comes, to my mind these days is how we are meant to just assume certain things. And, the old saying behind assume and make an ass of you and me. Well, I don't think anybody these days assumes much. And if they do, I think they're a rare breed. And I don't mean any disrespect by that, but you have to be on your feet. You have to be alert. You have to be aware. And to just assume somebody is going to, in some cases, even be there tomorrow is an assumption. So I'm trying to make this a shorter video. I realized the last two were a little long. I as well as you, may probably have a short attention span, and I don't want to lose anybody. And I've sort of had this regeneration, if you will, of wanting to make videos for no particular reason. I started out making videos on, you notice how I jump one subject to the next. It's a Gemini thing. I started out making videos about my cars and, showing my progress and, spraying paint and that kind of thing. And I wasn't comfortable with it. I'm not a professional, okay? I am a backyard mechanic in a garage. And sometimes I screw up, and sometimes I succeed. And I don't want to video my screw-ups, all right? Because something else in this society is we're very critical. And so I would just as soon keep my personal errors to myself, and I correct them off camera. But I got this resurgence the other day, having attempted this YouTube being a creator. I really got into it, and I just couldn't come up with enough content to make it interesting. And I took 4 months off, and I continued to watch some videos on motivation of other YouTubers. And I have to step out of this for a second and say there's something to be said, because the YouTube people that have succeeded, and I'll just leave it at that, okay? Whatever they make or whatever they don't make is none of my concern, okay? But they are so full of advice, and I've watched and I've learned so many things and techniques, and taken their advices and learned about the cameras they're using, and learned about their stands that they bought from Amazon or wherever. And I can't say enough about them, all right, because they're just, they have seminars in Las Vegas, they have support groups, they have, and some of them have become so big and so successful that they actually mentor, okay, and it's not free. But if you're really out to make a career of this, which I'd like to, I'm starting a little late, but at the same time, I enjoy talking. I guess it shows, all right? And I feel like after the amount of time that I've spent on this earth, I got a few things to talk about. I got a few things to share. I've had some pretty interesting experiences. So, all in all, I'm glad I'm back. I'm glad you're watching. I hope you are. I hope I've touched you in some way, shape, or form. I'll continue to elaborate a little bit on some of the things that I might have touched on this particular video. They don't recommend making one after another, but 4 months of thinking about, I need content. That's what we call it. I need content. I need content. I looked in the mirror and I said, hell, who's got more content than me? And so I am putting it out there right now. And at some point, maybe in the next week or so, I might back off for a week and just sort of try to catch up a little bit on my thoughts and improve my techniques, maybe buy a new camera. I'm happy as heck with my stand. And if you really want a deal on it, Amazon's got some deals, okay, and doesn't have some deals. But on this particular thing here, if you were going to use this thing outside, this particular stand, wherever the hell I put it. Anyway, oh, I wrapped it up. Look at how easy it would be to travel with this thing. It folds down to nothing, okay? I mean, if the thing is maybe a total of 18 inches top to bottom, and then it just opens up. If there was anything I would ever do is if I was going to take this outside and do any sort of shooting of a video in a windy situation, it would blow over. Okay, so you may want to take a rock, a sandbag or something like that to steady it. And as they say, that's all I have for today. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment. Please leave $1,000. I'm just kidding. No, I do appreciate your time. I appreciate your attention. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.